Hey everyone, I'm Keisha Hatchett with TV Line, and welcome to the Batwoman WonderCon panel. Wow, what a season so far. And the good news is the cast is here to break down those incredible moments. So let's introduce our panelists. Starting with showrunner Caroline Dries. Hi, Caroline.
Hello.
Hello. And what word best describes your current mood? This is for everyone, by the way.
I'm feeling right now very smiley because every time I'm around this cast, I just end up cracking up. So I'm feeling kind of bubbly and smiley.
Nice. And next we have Camrus Johnson, who plays Luke.
Hey, Camrus, I feel very blessed right now.
Nice. And next we have Nicole Kang, who plays Mary.
Hi, I'm feeling pretty fabulous with the height of my hair right now.
It is very pretty. So yes, I love the height. And we also have Meagan Tandy, who plays Sophie.
Hi, I'm feeling pretty excited right now.
Me too. Everyone else feeling that way too? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we also have Rachel Skarsten, who plays Alice.
Hi, I just keep thinking I feel hungry because we have a group text and everyone's saying I'm hungry, and I wasn't hungry, but now I am. So I'm excited and hungry.
We'll get you some snacks after this, okay? And last but not least, we have Batwoman herself, Javicia Leslie.
Hey, it's funny that Rachel said that because that was going to be my mood. I'm hungry, but I did go get some salsa during the break, so I feel spicy.
Perfect. Well, we have to start with that huge twist. Kate Kane is alive. It's been the mystery of the season so far, and now the audience knows, but the Bat team doesn't. They're still in the dark. So what can you say about the journey ahead and this very important bit of news that is just waiting to be uncovered?
There's this tragic irony happening where our characters have been looking for Kate desperately, and now they believe she's dead. And so as they're moving on with their lives, the audience is privy to this huge piece of information that Kate's actually alive. So moving forward, Kate's in for a bumpy road. That's all I'll tease. And our characters, of course, are eventually going to be looped into this huge piece of news. But it's pure drama from here on out, and it's going to affect every character differently, just the way her disappearance affected every character differently.
Yeah, there's going to be some drama ahead. That's what it sounds like. But on a lighter note, I want to get into the Bat team chemistry because y'all just look like you're having a blast. But it wasn't always the case because especially with Ryan, she didn't feel like a part of the team, but now they're like sort of hitting this nice little groove. So Camrus, Javicia, Nicole, can you talk a little bit about the dynamic and how that's changed and why it's changed?
I feel like a lot of it just has to do with really like they start to earn each other's trust. And when the trust is earned, it allows for the space for them to be themselves. Ryan no longer has to try to be Kate Kane. She could be herself and be comfortable being herself. And there's no expectations for her to be Kate. And you'll learn as the season goes on too that Ryan and Luke have a lot in common, which ends up really connecting them and grounding them. And that really helps to pull back the layers between their relationship. And Mary was already pretty much Team Ryan from the moment she meets her, but even they go on a journey of trust because Ryan has expectations as now being the Bat. I love when people say the Bat. Ryan has expectations. It just takes me back to Batman. Ryan has expectations being the Bat, and I feel like Mary constantly holds her accountable, and that's a character that you wouldn't expect really to tell you when you're wrong because she comes from the heart so much. So as far as the Bat team goes, I think the development and the growth of them comes in them having trust with each other and trust for each other.
And what's also been fun is seeing the different odd pairings this season. You have Luke and Alice, and then, of course, Ryan and Sophie working together. So I want to know from everyone on the panel, which odd pairing what other odd pairing you'd like to see this season and why?
Ooh, I would love to see a Luke and Commander Kane pairing, because I don't think the only scene I've had with him so far was in 209. I like there's something about this dynamic between these two dudes that I just feel like would be interesting, because Commander Kane is he's so heavy. It's the only word that I can think of. Like, he's got so much like anger, and like when it comes to his job that Luke doesn't fully agree with how the Crows operate. And then behind closed doors, Luke also comes from a lot of anger that he keeps more suppressed than he does. So I feel like they'd be two heavy hitters that are just clashing all the time. And I feel like that could be really, really interesting, of seeing how Luke interacts with the Crows a little more, because the only Crow he knows is Sophie. And I think Luke he likes Sophie. Like, there's something about that chemistry that he trusts. But Commander Kane, I don't think he likes that guy very much. I feel like Kane wouldn't like Luke that much either. I think that could be fun.
The two men in Mary's life are so angry.
I know, it's so angry.
I'm like, oh, lighten up. So, I love when we get guest stars, by the way. Like, I'm always like so curious, and I love seeing like who's the next person that they're going to interact with. And I know, Javicia, like, you get to definitely interact with them as the Bat oftentimes, but I think that's so cool. Like, whenever any of our characters get to collide with some of our guest stars, it just like brings something new and fresh, and that's always like my favorite part.
I know you can't tease any, but are there any exciting guest stars that you're looking forward to fans seeing this season?
Yes.
I'm already really excited about the ones we've had. Like, episode 3, Alex, he plays Victor's ass, and like, oh my gosh, what he brought to that character, the groundedness yet weirdness. I think it played so well on screen when I watched it. And then Sophia, she just has like this like mystery about her, and you never really know. So when you find out what you find out, that that she's been lying the entire time, you feel like, oh my goodness, I would have never believed that. I thought you really did have Kate. So I think that just watching like our villains kind of play these two roles, like where you don't really know what their issue is or their thing is, and then later on in the episode you find out. We're just the way that the characters are being cast, it's just so amazing and so much fun. And they always come with these really like this cool energy and this cool perspective on a brand new character in a world that already exists.
Also, Drunk Alice is my favorite mood of all time. I never thought that I'd reach another height of being my favorite. And then I thought, oh my God, I wish Mary and Alice could get drunk together.
That would be dope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Great.
still want to throw in an answer for the guest star thing real quick. There is one more guest star that Luke has a connection to. That's all I can say, that I'm super excited about. We talked about it way in the beginning of the season. I didn't know when it was going to come. And if you like Julia Pennyworth, which is really the only guest star so far that's been connected to Luke, and she's been such a hit, I think people are really going to like the next one. And that's all I'll say.
Something to think about. While we move on to our next question. This one's for Rachel. Alice has been on a journey this season between everything with Sophia and then, being put in this awkward position of having to kill Ocean, who she has feelings for. So were you nervous at all about exploring more of Alice's humanity, given that we know her as this demented figure and she has some of that mystique? So now you're kind of chipping away at that.
Yes and no. I think we kind of chipped away. We started to chip away at it last season. And actually, it's one of the things I like the most about Alice is that Caroline has given her this rich backstory. So we kind of explored from the accident up until when she leaves the Cartwright house last season. And now we're exploring how from that point of the Cartwright house to her becoming a leader of the Wonderland gang, how did she become that person? And so to me, it's just really another chapter of the same book in a way. But Yeah, I love seeing her vulnerability. And I think it's last year in a platonic way, I think Kate was her great love story. And I was a little concerned losing that love story for Alice, but it's been really, really lovely having her new love come in, and getting to see her interact with him. And of course, Nathan, who plays Ocean, is just the most lovely. So I feel very lucky that I get to play with him and Shivani this season.
Yeah, it's been really fun and interesting to see the romantic side of Alice, which we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I know. To be honest, I was actually, when Caroline told me that she was going to have a love story, there was a part of me that was like, how is that going to work? Because she just so doesn't seem like the type of person who falls in love. You know, she just really uses people for her own aims. So to have that aspect of vulnerability, you know, the vulnerability you have to have when you're in a romantic, loving relationship, is a whole different layer to Alice, and has been really fun to do.
Yeah. And speaking of romance, Javicia, we saw Ryan and Angelique sort of have their relationship sort of built on this trauma that they both experienced together. But then unfortunately they broke up because of the whole cell phone thing. So is that completely done, or is there room for a reconciliation?
Well, one, I think you probably have to truly ask Caroline. I don't know up to the episode that we're in, but I will say, just like enjoying my work with my Ryan life, I don't ever feel like that's a story that will ever really be done, like be complete, because of the fact that like there, Ryan doesn't really have any anchor to her childhood. Her one anchor was her mama, which was her adopted mother, and she died. And so her only other anchor is Angelique, and that's a huge part of her life. And I think she'll always have there will always be empathy for that relationship and for each other's dynamics. But I think more than anything, Ryan is really in a place where she wants to do better, and she was never really the bad person, you know what I mean? But she wants to make sure that she takes advantage of this opportunity and she moves forward in her life. And the thing about Angelique is, like, for the longest, it never felt like Angelique was going to change. It felt like she didn't get the opportunity that Ryan got when it came to being saved by someone. And so I think Ryan feels like she needs to be Angelique's savior. The way that Mama was her savior is the way that she wants to be Angelique's savior. So I think that that's like going to be a reoccurring concept in Ryan's life, is like feeling the need to constantly look back and save Angelique. I just don't know if it's going to be the healthiest relationship for her.
Right. So we do want to see Ryan happy and in a healthy relationship. So would you like to explore more of her romantic life, or do you think she's just too busy, fighting crime?
I mean, I'm here for, honestly, whatever the writers create. I think that we're in this weird space right now with the pandemic that we are limited with how much we can play in that world, honestly. So I know that kind of probably affected the storylines when it comes to being able to just switch out romantic characters. But also that's one of the hugest differences that I noticed between Kate and Ryan, is like Kate was kind of like the playgirl of like the show. Like she was like, like the way you saw Bruce Wayne, he was like this big playboy that everyone wanted. Ryan's not like that. So I don't really know if she would ever have like I don't think she'll ever have that type of like love story or energy where it's like people are in and out. Really, it will be about the relationship she develops with whomever is special enough to develop that relationship with. And so I don't know yet, because we haven't shot anything that I know about just yet. I've read some things recently and I'm like, oh, okay. But we'll see.
We shall see. And Nicole, one of the sort of grounding aspects of the show has been Mary's clinic. It's just like almost like a second home, like the Batcave is. Like that is just something, a presence on the show. And now that it's shut down because of Jacob, what's going on with that? Are we going to see it again? And how does that affect her relationship with her father?
I think if that you've been following along with Mary, and just as you said, it's just sort of a tenet of who Mary is. When she's in the Batcave, like that's Luke's sort of domain, and she's there to help, and she's on the Bat team. But I've always loved that she's had her own thing and her own expertise, in addition to all of the bravery and all of the fun that she does. So when it's taken away, it certainly affects her. And it's as though somebody took away your dream or your passion or your identity. And that's really, really difficult for her. So it's definitely going to cause some bumps in the road with sort of the only familial relationship that's healthy that she has left. And I'm really, really excited to see how that plays out. I just love scenes with Stu Gray. He does bring, you know, so much there, and his history, and Mary has never felt like she's belonged already. So for him to come in and father her by taking something away from her that she felt she was entitled to because, you know, she made, I think it's really, really tough. But I'm hopeful for the future. I'm hoping I don't know. I hope so.
And Meagan, Sophie has just been in such a, you know, position with the Crows, you know, how they've gained this sort of power in Gotham, and, you know, she's not afraid to stand up and speak her mind. So as we move forward this season, how do you think where she stands with Crow, how has her opinion of them continue to evolve? And as she's also working with Ryan to find this you know, mysterious painting, could we see a more congenial relationship between Batwoman and the Crows, since they've been, you know, sort of working against each other for the past season and a half?
Yeah. So, you know, with Sophie, you know, she's been very much, you know, a part of the Crows, and within the Crows that she didn't even her own self see the cracks that are even within it. And it really is not until Ryan comes along that really helps to expose like what is like going on within the Crows. And so I think for Sophie, it's you know, it takes a few episodes for her to actually like really understand, like, oh wow, there's actually like something wrong with this establishment, and she doesn't see it right away, and it's really not until Ryan starts to bring it up to her that it's an actual issue. And so, you know, I feel like, you know, perhaps if Sophie was in charge of the Crows, that there could be a different dynamic between Batwoman and the Crows. But I think as long as Commander Kane is doing it the way he's been doing it, I feel like there's going to always be that little bit of a bump. And so that's where it's been fun to have Ryan there to kind of expose all of those things, because now it gets Sophie thinking like, all right, you know, maybe this is not where I'm supposed to be. But yeah, whether or not she sticks with it, you guys just have to see.
And we do know that we have a new big bad coming in the second half with Black Mask. And it seems like he's going to strike a nerve with Ryan. So what's her biggest issue with him? And how does that set up the second half of the season?
Yeah, we teased Black Mask early on in the season, and then we slowly revealed that he's the one who's sort of in charge of the False Face Society, who've been peddling and manufacturing this super lethal drug called Snakebite. And Ryan's affiliation with False Face is that Angelique is now helping manufacture and sell this drug, and it puts Batwoman in a really precarious position, because here's, you know, her friend, her anchor, her soulmate, and here's the villain of Gotham, and how does she kind of ease her friend out of this horrific situation? And she becomes sort of enemy number one to Black Mask.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. And I just read something when I was reading the episode, and there's a history to the suit and mask. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to seeing what that's about as we get our episodes, and, you know, pulling those layers back. I think our show has done such a great job continuing to tie in last season to Ryan, which is this new character. And it's like, even me as like an actress, when I'm reading, it's like there are reveals that are happening. I'm like, oh, what? That's crazy. You know, like even from like episode 2 where you see Ryan getting mugged and Kate Kane comes in and saves the day. Like, that was just such a cool way to create this like little connection between Ryan and Kate Kane.
Yeah, and the diary too. Yeah, So yeah, I think that's amazing. And now we're going to jump into some trivia questions. Don't worry, some of them are multiple choice. So,
I'm so bad at trivia.
We're going to test your knowledge. The first one, we're going to start. These are in sections. The first one's going to be props. And our first question for everyone, roughly how many Batarangs have been made to date? Bonus points if you can name the 3 different types of Batarang. The answers are A, 50 Batarangs, B, 60 Batarangs, or C, 70 Batarangs.
70. We all have to give an answer, right?
50.
Yes, you all.
So I know there's the long one. There's like the actual Batarang that comes back to you, right? Javicia, and then there's the little one. And then is there like
there's like a mini one?
Yeah, is like a little, like a little, like a pierce thing. It's like this one.
There's also the original one, the original black ones before they turn red.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the answer is C or B, 60 Batarangs, first of all.
I didn't answer it in the box. I knew the answer, you know what I'm saying? I did not to.
Of course. And the 3 types of Batarangs are the standard Batarang, which Camrus, you answered, the mini Batarang, which Caroline answered, and then the bat throwing star. So I think you all covered that actually.
So the
bat throwing star?
Yeah, it's like it goes into 3, right?
Yes, those are the 3.
Yeah, okay. Right.
An extra fun fact, there are 7 versions to choose from: metal, rubber, cutoff for special effects, and more.
That part I knew, because when we do our close-ups, we use the metal ones, and when we're doing the ones where I'm actually throwing them at people, those are the rubber ones.
And I had a scene where like I had a Batarang and I like stabbed someone in the leg with it, and props did this really cool, that cut off one. There's like a magnet, and so you can really go for it, but the magnet takes care of it, and it looks like it's like, and then the rest is acting, brilliant acting. But
and at the end of the series, I'm trying to steal a Batarang, and I need to make sure it's not rubber because the metal ones are cooler.
True or false? The weapons cache in the Batcave changes every episode.
I can't answer this because I know the answer.
You might have to.
It changes.
I'll say false.
Episode false.
Yeah, false.
I think true, because I think he empties it so nobody goes and steals it in between takes. Like, that's why I think true.
Caroline, you're correct. It's true. It does change. Each new gadget that's introduced is placed in the cache for the filming of that episode. Depending on if Batwoman is in the Batcave or out fighting crime, items are removed according to what she would have with her.
Oh,
so there you go. Between 1 to 10, how many bow staffs are there, Javicia? You can't answer this one.
Between 1 to 10, is there multiple choice?
Between 1 to 10, that's your only guess.
I would think
I don't even know how. I've only seen the bow staff like one time.
Yeah.
I've never.
I've never.
So
2. No, 1. 1's my answer.
No, there's more than one. Yours, because there's a stunt one. So
and
maybe,
there's a
rubber one.
I'd say like 4.
Because you have to think of it from the
total.
You have to think of it from the props perspective, not just what's being aired.
Yeah, how many of these are floating around there?
Okay, I'm gonna say Javicia normal and rubber, stunts normal and rubber, backup.
Wait, does it also include the one Cam stole?
No, that doesn't count. That one doesn't count.
And there's the baton. There's the pre-VFX one, so it's the baton before it jets out.
So 6.
7.
Yeah, 7.
There are also different
7
ones. There aren't just, so in general, so there are 7.
2, 1,
you
2,
are
1, 2.
Correct. There are 6 bow staffs, and then Javicia keeps 1 to practice with.
I knew I was gonna go get it. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it.
Good teamwork. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So this one is I wouldn't call it, it's like plastic on the inside and there's foam on the outside. So this is the one that I actually hit with because it doesn't hurt anyone. But then there's like a shorter version of this where it's like these two are basically closer, and that's what's like connected to my that's what's connected to me when I come out. So like I think in episode 3 where I have to do the scene with Victor's ass, Luke tells me to pull out the bow staff and I don't know how it works. And then FX like basically made it where they extended it, but then it becomes this one. And then there is one that's just like this, that's solid. So the paint won't chip like that, like, cause it's like way more solid than this. We have like a black one that is the one that I like to practice with when I'm at work because it's weighted, and with the bow staff, you need the weight in order to be able to do the tricks. And then I have this one. Actually, Paxton ordered me a real bow staff. So in there, I also have like the real wooden bow staff, but that one's really difficult because it's super heavy.
Super heavy.
You guys, I've seen her with the black one too. I've seen her like practicing with it one time, and I was just like, all right, I'm not messing with her. She's so good. So good.
I'm obsessed with the bow staff.
Watch out for Javicia.
This wasn't originally a weapon for like Batman or anything. I think Robin had the bow staff, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool that we're using it in this iteration.
What is the most expensive prop made for the show to date? Hint: it was a prop for the crossover episode.
I know the answers. I'm not saying it.
Could it be? I mean, is the Batmobile a prop?
No.
Okay.
But that would be it.
The most expensive prop that was used in the crossover?
Did any of you all watch the crossover besides Cam?
I watched it.
I know, yeah. Cam watched it from start to finish.
Cam abs.
Cam abs.
That was my favorite part of the crossover.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, yeah.
His little beard.
Yeah, the beard.
The answer is Bruce Wayne's exoskeleton. It cost almost about as much as the Cybertruck.
Oh my God.
I was in the scene with that thing. Duh. That was easy one. I should have known that.
Yeah, after Batmobile, I'm stumped.
Yeah.
That exoskeleton was awesome. I saw them put it on him, and it was such a process. That thing was cool. Dang, I should do that.
Wow.
We're moving on to costumes now. First question: how many Crows costumes are there for cast and stunt performers? A, 25, B, 35, or C, 45?
45.
Gotta
I'm
go
gonna
with
go
the highest.
A, 25.
Thinking about laundry. I've seen a lot of them up when.
But like, I have a Crows.
Can I answer? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them. That's
I feel like I wear one. Alice has one too.
Okay.
Yeah, plus they have the tactical, they have the suit and the tactical.
Oh, then we go with C.
Javicia, have you ever in stunts when you look up those like where they keep all the clothes? I've seen like just crows.
Oh,
It's literally like, I feel like our show is the crow station. I always say that. You walk in and there's a bunch. I know.
Now I want to say
there's
There are 45. So some of y'all were correct.
what letter was that? A, B, or C?
That was C, 45.
That's what I changed it to. Okay.
Batwoman's boots are an homage to which Batman's Batmobile? A,
which
Adam West
Batmobile?
Which Batman? There are a lot of Batmans in the universe.
Yeah.
Which one are Batwoman's boots a homage to? A, Adam West, B, Christian Bale's Batmobile, or C, George Clooney's Batmobile?
Oh. I mean, I gotta look at your boots again.
I don't think I've ever looked at your boots.
Yeah, Javicia, do you know the answer or no?
Adam West.
Batmobile part is
Adam West has the red trim on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Adam West. Yeah.
Because there's a bat on your boots. Is that what she's talking about?
When I lift my foot up, there's a bat on the sole of it.
I would say just because, I would.
I think Adam West.
You're correct. It's Adam West.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yay.
And
Janice is like,
No, you know what I was thinking also? It's like one of the lines that Bruce Wayne has for Luke when he comes into the Batcave is like, those red details stand out, because I don't remember any other Batman having like as much red detail as our Batwoman does.
Yeah, and if you look at the top of her boot, you'll see it. Yeah, it's the red. So, correct. And all of Alice's coats are handmade for Rachel. Roughly how many costume pieces are layered per outfit to create her signature look?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I feel like
4,
8.
5, 6, 7.
1,
Are gloves
2.
considered 2 or 1?
I would say 1.
8. I feel like either 8 or 9.
Wait. The question is, how many layers?
How many layers?
Look?
Yeah,
How many
to complete
layers?
her look.
I'm gonna say 4.
It's the
Yeah, if we're talking layers.
vest,
Yeah.
layers.
Blouse, the vest, the
It's
jacket,
more than
the
that.
shirt.
It's the shirt, the skirt, depending on which one she's doing, the jacket, the stockings, the socks, the boots, the gloves. And then I don't know if this is a part of the shirt or not, but sometimes she has like the little tie thingy.
But wouldn't
I
boots
thought
and
they were.
gloves could be considered the same layer though?
Yeah, she just said layers. So that's up top. So then she's got the vest, the blouse, the jacket,
the petticoat.
Think of it as pieces. There we go. Pieces instead of saying
Pieces, not layers.
Oh, okay,
Also
okay.
pieces.
Yeah,
There we go. Okay.
I say 8 to 9.
I'm gonna say 8.
8.
Teresa, you're correct. It's 9.
Yay.
Her underwear. That's what we forgot.
Yeah, that
It's the layer we
Rachel,
don't
what
see
are
on the show.
Yeah, what are the
So
pieces?
you have the boots, the tights, the skirt, shirt, vest. I always wear like a vest. The jacket, the gloves,
The socks.
For the wig. Where's that?
Do you have them like, don't you have them like frilly socks?
Zoom today. My dog is just in revolt. No, what else would there be? That's well, I always wear a petticoat underneath the skirt. I'll have like a layer of a petticoat.
Just a wig.
Sometimes I wear my necklace. With
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the necklace.
And
my underwear.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
I guess you guys
Maybe.
know what's under there.
Is it 8 or is it 9 today?
Is it 8 or is it 20? Either way, it takes me a long time to go to the bathroom.
Same. Oh my gosh, and I have the whole suit on. I'm like, I gotta use the bathroom.
Be back in 20.
Bonus question. We know from Javicia that Batwoman has 2 different suits, but how many different capes does she have?
2. A heavy
3.
and a not heavy one. I only put that one on you.
It's a for sure 2. I don't know if it's a third one.
Because I
I
know
would
it's
say
heavy
3.
because it's leather. So I feel like she has another one.
That's less, yeah.
So, but I can't think of another reason. Do they special effects it? 1? No, I feel like 2.
I'm gonna say 3 for safety.
Camrus,
Yeah,
you're
3.
right. It's 3.
I have one that I have, well, she already established that I have 2. And so the third one is that I have one for when I'm riding in the Batmobile that's cut off and it's halfway.
Yeah.
And technically, I don't know if this would be considered 4, but we have one that is like heavier. So that way when we do the lands, it gives you that bellow feel.
Yeah, well, the technical answer is there's one for inside the Batmobile, one for everyday things, and then one longer for when Batwoman drops down.
Every day.
I like the one for everyday things. This is my
I'm
everyday.
just walking around with a cape.
Going shopping.
Cape.
So let's hear a little bit more about Batwoman's fantastical costumes from the show's costume designer, Maya Manny, who is quickly on her way to having created 100 superhero costumes across the Arrowverse.
So while other people were baking sourdough bread and making banana bread, I designed the new Batwoman suits. And I think what I really wanted to do with the suit was to encompass the athleticism and the physical presence and demands of being the physical demands of being Batwoman within this costume. And I wanted certain practical aspects in that costume. And so one of them is her being able to put on her own cape and not have it appear by magic, that we can actually put it on and take it off within a scene. There's a belt buckle that functions. So all of that was important, maybe not to no one else, but it was important to me. The other thing that I wanted to do was pay homage to past Batman shows. I used to come home from school and I'd see the Batman, Adam West Batman that we all saw, or some of us saw. Some of you were too young for that. But so her boots are an homage to the old Batmobile. If you look at the top of the boot, there's that, the fins are there. So Alice's costume. Alice, I approach Alice as trying to nod at Alice in Wonderland, the Alice in Wonderland that we know, but also give her a bit of a thrift store chic to her, if that makes any sense. There's about 9 pieces on a good day. Sometimes there's one less, sometimes there's one more, but the 9 pieces are her boots. She wears 2 pairs of hose, one colored and one either lace or a fishnet. Then there's her bloomers. She wears bloomers, a skirt, her blouse, her waistcoat, her coat, and her gloves. And sometimes she'll wear a necklace that has "drink me" in it. There's little pieces of paper that say that, or "eat me," and stuff like that. And then sometimes she'll wear a belt, but for the most part, I'd say 9 is pretty accurate. The 100 costumes, they just kind of snuck up on me. I was on Arrow for 7 seasons, so we were constantly doing something. And I have to say, I've learned a lot with each costume. I've learned new techniques and new ways of approaching it. Things that I never thought I would do. I would say the hardest costume I ever made up until the one I'm currently working on, which I'm not going to tell you about, but I can guarantee you it's going to knock your socks off. It's awesome. Is the Atom, because he had moving parts and lights and people off stage, you know, working a joystick to make the shoulders and the knees and things like that spin. And the purpose of that was to make it look like the costume was interacting with the person wearing it. So throughout all these costumes, however, there was always been like a massive team of people, you know, working with props and stunts and makeup and all kinds of people, engineers in the case of the Atom, just to make it functional. The other thing I should tell you is, regardless of who puts on the costume, the very first time they put on that costume, from Stephen Amell to Grant Gustin to Javicia Leslie, they all have that moment when they look in the mirror and they go, "Oh my God, I'm a superhero." Like, they all have that, you know, or "Oh my God, I'm the Arrow," or the Flash, or "I'm Batwoman," you know, like they all have that. And that's kind of magical. It's cool.
And now we're moving on to the Batmobile round.
Oh boy.
I'm so sorry, my animals just keep Now we understand the layers.
Yeah. So for number 1, this is the Batmobile. How many weeks did it take to create the Batmobile from concept to final product? A, 4 weeks, B, 6 weeks, or C, 8 weeks?
I feel like C.
When we're saying final product, do we mean before the red paint or after the red paint?
Because there was some tape on it for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say when you see it on screen.
When you see it?
I normally pick B because I was told that you should always pick B, but I'm gonna go with C.
Yeah, C, 8 weeks.
Wait, are you saying from when the concept is introduced in the show to when it's used in the show, like story-wise, or are you just saying like to create it?
The first sketch.
Huh?
This is all strictly behind the scenes. So like when from the concept art to final product where it's physically built.
Luke is like, "I didn't know we had a Batmobile," and then it just goes, and I was like, "Oh, like 2 weeks."
Well, the answer
B.
You are correct. Javicia, you should have listened to your gut. It's B, 6 weeks.
Hey, yo, I'm crushing this, right? Am I winning? I feel like I'm getting so many points.
Not
right
about
now.
that. We're probably tied.
We'll tally at the end. So the time it took from concept to final product took nearly 6 weeks. The transportation team enlisted many departments to create the Batmobile, including picture cars department, art department, construction department, paint department, and props.
I have to credit Javicia for that win for me, because when you said somebody said always choose B, I was like, I like it.
That's how I passed the SAT. There's a lot of B's.
True or false? The show goes through at least one set of tires each episode.
Ooh, that's tricky. I feel like the answer is seen some tricky things happen. I feel like the answer should be true. I don't know if it's true now. I think it might be false.
I'm gonna say false.
Yeah, I don't think so because we don't use it every episode. So
It's actually true.
True.
They
That's
do.
what I was gonna say.
Really? Wait, why? What if it's not being used? Why did they switch it out?
They didn't give me that answer, but I'm just gonna say because they do.
Well, maybe Megan, maybe they're not saying every episode. Maybe they're saying every episode that it's played, that is being driven.
that makes sense.
But we
I wasn't
also
sure.
have 2 Batmobiles, and I don't know if everyone knows that. Like, there's one that we have to have 2 because if anything were to happen during stunts, they still need to
Right.
get through the episode.
Right.
So I know that we have to.
My guess is for safety because they're doing those like hard spin outs and stuff. So
Yeah.
they just change them.
I feel like it was true because someone said something about tires recently, so I just assumed it was important.
Okay, we have 2 more questions. The first one, 2 truths and a lie, Batmobile edition. I'm going to read you 3 statements about the Batmobile. 2 of them are true. 1 is false. So can you correctly identify the false statement? A, the Batmobile has a drifting handbrake installed, which allows the vehicle to be slid sideways by the pull of a lever. B, the Batmobile is capable of going 150 miles per hour. Or C, Batwoman's Batmobile has twice the horsepower of the original 1966 TV series Batmobile, coming in around 650 horsepower. Which one's false?
A is false.
A is true.
Yeah, I think it's actually B.
You're correct,
I think
Javicia.
But I think every
Yeah.
car can go up to 150.
Yeah. Wait,
Like,
I think-
like terrible cars.
I'm sticking with A.
It might be the fact that it might go even faster than 150.
Oh my gosh,
But
imagine that it doesn't go up to 150 and that it was a terrible car.
What's the answer, Keisha?
It's B, that it can go 150 miles per hour. That's not true. It's false.
It's not true because is it 150 kilometers?
Can it go more than 150?
She doesn't know, guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, it can probably.
Oh wait, no, it's okay. That it's true because the Batmobile is actually capable of going over 200 miles per hour.
yeah.
If anyone's crazy enough to try it.
Okay.
So it wasn't enough. Okay.
Yeah. So the last
So
one.
that means I officially beat Cam. Oh no, I'm sorry. You have one more.
Okay.
This is the last one to determine who is the winner. How quickly can the Batmobile go 0 to 60? A, 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Oh.
4,
B, wait, sorry. A, 3 seconds. B, 4 seconds. Or C, 4.5 seconds.
Well, it's gonna sound like I'm cheating, but the answer is A.
But wait,
I don't know.
Is this like the
'Cause I just said it.
Batmobile or the actual car that we have as the Batmobile?
Yeah.
It's
That's a good
definitely.
question.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to be multiple choice, so I said it too quickly.
And now
But I
it sounds
think
like I'm
it's A.
cheating, but I just know that I've heard this saying 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. So I might be wrong now.
Yeah.
Well, you are correct. It is. It's
I
3.
said-
It's
I
A,
said
3
that.
seconds.
I don't feel that doesn't feel like a
Got it.
win. It feels like I cheated.
That's my bad. I didn't know. I said it too fast. I didn't know it was going to be ADHD.
Everyone's a winner here. At the end of the day, you are all part of Batwoman, so you've won. And so that's it. Wait.
You should see Camrus
Sure.
and I
We're
when
like-
we went to the arcade. It's just like that. Like we're so competitive. It's ridiculous.
Yo,
It's ridiculous.
since day one.
Him and I are giving each other the look like, no, this will be finished.
To be continued between Camrus and Javicia at a later date. Let's hear a little bit more about the already iconic Batmobile from the show's transportation coordinator, Blake Zickenfoos.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a process to get something like this to the final product once you get it on screen. First we had to find the car, and everyone has to put their input in to what they want, and it just turned out that myself and Caroline actually kind of had the same idea. It was great. We wanted to build it on a Corvette platform, which is a great car to start with. And then from there, we had to work with the art department and all their renderings and their drawings and concepts. And once all those were approved, then we had to figure out how to get all this stuff on the car, which is, a lot harder than you would expect. But it's good. Now we have 3D modeling technology that we can scan the whole car and, virtually come up with the design in the computer software, whereas we can then transfer that to a mold, have that cast, and then, some of the parts were 3D printed, some of them were cast, and then once that happens, we had to affix them on the vehicle. It takes a bit of time. It's not a straightforward process, but it's in the end, it looked great. It looks great, I should say. I'm not sure most people know, but we actually have 2 identical Batmobiles, which is always a good thing because there's always one of them that needs work on it, whether it's changing the tires out or fixing something that is broke during filming. We basically have to have 2, so there's no downtime in production, and they are exact replicas of each other. In terms of maintenance on the Batmobile, we have quite a lot of stuff we have to do between episodes, most notably change all the tires out, because we can go through a set of tires in as little as 2 shooting days when we're driving the car quite spirited, as you would say. And it can be quite the deal. A full set of tires can cost up to $2,300 US. So we definitely trying to get the most out of them we can. So one of the hardest, one of the biggest obstacles building the Batmobile was installing a drift brake or a handbrake handle that you pull to basically put the car into a slide. And on a good day, it's not an easy process, but considering this car is brand new, essentially in 2019 Corvette, we had to basically reprogram the car to trick it into letting us do this. Without doing that, the car would think something was wrong and it would just shut the whole car down and go into limp mode. So we had our programmer basically program a new code and insert it in the car. And it's quite interesting because now it thinks it's great. So, but I think there's always an element of trying to tie in some of the elements from the previous Batmobiles, whether it be the lines on the body or the rear wing, and just essentially the feeling of the car when you look at it. So I think it's safe to say there were some elements that modeled the original Batmobile from the 1966 TV series. Interesting fact about our Batmobile is that it has twice the horsepower as the original 1966 TV Batmobile. Ours is coming in around 650 horsepower, and the original Batmobile had about half that amount. The Batmobile is capable of going 0 to 60 miles an hour in as little as 3 seconds. That's about as long as it takes to have a sip of your coffee and put it back down. Putting together the Batmobile has been a group effort for as much as 8 departments. We all had to work hand in hand to get this thing done in a short amount of time. I believe it was 6 weeks that we had to get her on the road from concept to completion.
Wow, you all really know your Batwoman facts. Thank you everyone for joining us. New episodes of Batwoman air Sundays at 8/7 Central, only on the CW. When Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood reopens, DC fans will get to step into Batman's secret lair and explore Batmobiles, the Batwing, and much more in this all-new immersive Batcave. More details will be revealed in the coming months, so follow the tour at WB Tour Hollywood.